Union Minister of Consumer Affairs Pralhad Joshi today flagged concerns over the tipping system by cab aggregator Uber. He has written in his tweet that the practice of advance tip is deeply concerning. Forcing or nudging users to pay a tip in advance for faster service is unethical and exploitative. Such actions fall under unfair trade practices. Tip is given as a token of appreciation, not as a matter of right after the service. The minister also said that he's asked CCPA to look into the matter, and CCPA also has now issued a notice to Uber in this regard, seeking explanation from the platform. Well, the minister said that fairness, transparency and accountability must be upheld in all customer interactions. Well, now Uber, we understand, will have to respond to the government on the advanced tip option displayed by it on its app. And many users have also written that this is a way of making consumers bribe the cab drivers in order to accept their rides. Often we understand we have to struggle to book cabs. So has Uber been taking advantage of its customers? Has Uber actually been taking you for a ride? That's the question that we are asking today. You can also call us with our views at the numbers that are being displayed on your TV screens there. 8377-088377 is our call-in number where you can call and express your opinion on this very issue. Well, this is the tweet that has been put out by Union Minister of Consumer Affairs Pralhad Joshi, where he's flagged concerns over the tipping system, over the add a tip for faster pickup option that's given. Well, you can add your tip as per your discretion, but we understand now the government has taken cognizance of it and said that this is very much concerning. This is in a way Uber has been trying to force or nudge the users to pay a tip in advance. And why should you, I or anybody else be paying a tip in advance for faster service? Now, many consumers here, many people who've after the tweet of the Union Minister have put out their views saying that this is in a way Uber has been trying to make consumers pay a bribe or incentive to nudge drivers to accept the ride. Is that the case? Has Uber been indulging in such malpractices? Well, has that been the intention of Uber? And we understand Uber will have to give a response to the Union Ministry, to the Union Ministry of Consumer Affairs and, well, explain their position on that. But clearly, going by what has been happening and now the issue that has been flagged by the Union Minister, it clearly looks like that cab aggregator Uber has been taking advantage of its customer. Has it been taking you for a ride? Is the question that we are asking today. You can call us on the numbers that have been given here. All right, I am being told that consumer right expert Khushbu Jain is also now joining us on the broadcast. Ms. Jain, now what do you think of this tweet, of this action now that has been taken by the government, the tweet that has been put out by Union Minister of Consumer Affairs Pralhad Joshi, saying that this matter is deeply concerning and Uber has been asked for a response on that?
I am absolutely in agreement with what has been put across, because this practice which has come up appears to be nothing but a practice for pressure or, to manipulate consumers into paying more or undermining, in a way, the fairness and transparency in the transaction. And when you talk about, and it appears to be very unethical. And if you talk about Consumer Protection Act, it clearly talks about transparency, fairness, and accountability are the key essential ingredients when it comes to consumer interactions or when it comes to providing services to the consumer. And this brings in significant risk when it comes to market power with the digital platform. And that's where I think the tweet and the notice that has been issued comes in an aspect which says that you cannot have a scenario where you create a service which is precondition for a better or a faster service, for a service which you have to as it is render, and this will be more of a bribery, if one has to put across, a forceful bribery or a forced upon aspect of tipping, whereas tipping, the concept of tipping worldwide
Yes.
is being very different, is considered differently, but misusing this aspect of tipping in a manner to nudge the customers to pay or force them to pay to have services. There would be a scenario where you will have to use Uber for places to go for a meeting or for catching a flight or a train
Yes.
where time is an essence. And that's where you'll be forced upon without choice. So not giving them choice and forcing upon them today at this scenario is something which is unethical and
Yes,
against
it's
the
a
consumer.
malpractice, clearly, by Uber that it has been indulging in, of course. I'll just come back to you, Ms. Jain. We also have a caller with us on the broadcast. Shashank is calling from Gurgaon. Shashank, go ahead. What's your view?
My view is it is not just the tip, but even it depends on the handset you are using. You know, a person for the same destination, if he uses Apple phone and another one using the plain Android phone, the rates are different. It's
Yes,
not
that's
just the
there.
tip
That issue
alone.
we've raised, Shashank. But what do you think about the action that is being taken by the government and how Uber has been displaying this, this tipping option of 50 rupees, 75 rupees or 100 rupees before you book a cab?
Unethical, absolutely unethical. Because then what happens is we try to use other apps like Ola or Rapido and so many others now. So then that's what I parallelly open all these apps and see whichever is giving the best rate. I go with that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for calling us. We also have another caller with us. Sundar from Bengaluru is joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Sundar, please go ahead.
Madam, good evening. Say, when we hail this Uber, Ola or Nammayatri, which is prevalent in Karnataka, the problem is as soon as we go to the app for booking, it says 20, 30, 40, 50 for tipping. The driver, and we do not know who has authorized what is called transport agents to have these features without anybody's consent, or it is illegal and unethical, madam.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for calling us and sharing your views with us. Well, we will have more callers joining us on the broadcast in just a bit. Meanwhile, this is the issue that we've raised today, that whether Uber has been taking you for a ride by displaying that option, by making you force to pay a tip. Either it's 50 rupees, 75 rupees, 100 rupees, it doesn't really matter. This is, in a way, indirectly bribery or incentive or bribery, whatever you may want to call it, to the cab drivers in order to pick your ride. Many a times this happens that you and I or anybody would try to book a cab, maybe early in the morning, late in the night, we want to go home or we want to go to our office or anywhere. Well, you're not able to get rides, you're not able to get cabs, but Uber is specifically displaying this system, this option of paying your drivers well in advance a tip. Is that some sort of bribery that Uber is indulging in? Well, also we have another caller with us on the broadcast. DS Prakash, I understand, from Bengaluru is calling us. Mr. Prakash, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, it's not going to the driver. Actually, it is charged by Uber itself in the other side way. They are trying to induce their fares or increase their fares in the other way around, saying that it's a tip for the driver. Actually, it's not a tip for the driver. It is a company who is making this profit.
Okay,
This can be taken as in the consumer court, saying that these are is a practice which is against business ethics.
Well,
This is what I want to say.
This is unethical, and this is a malpractice that Uber has been indulging in, and that is something the government has taken note of. Let me go across to another caller, Anil from Bengaluru. Mr. Anil, go ahead.
Good evening, Kitty. Just I wanted to intimate that this is not a tip. This is in the name of the tip. They are extortioning the money, and especially during the peak hours, they are charging exorbitant prices. This is what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. All right. That's the issue that we are raising at the moment. We understand Union Minister Pralhad Joshi in that tweet himself has put out that now the government has asked the CCPA to look into the matter, and notice also now has been issued to Uber in this regard, and they've sought explanation from the platform. Also, let me go across to my guest Khushbu Jain once again. Ms. Jain, one of the callers here on our show has raised this important issue, the point that has been raised, that this money actually is not for the driver. It's actually going to the company in the name of faster ride or a pickup that you may be asking for or you may be paying for. This whole profit that goes is to the company, not really to the drivers. They anyway get less than half of the total amount consumers usually pay to the drivers at the end of the ride.
I think that's where we have to wait, and that's where the response has to come from the Uber to get in more clarity. But if what you're saying is exactly happening, then this is purely a malpractice that, under the garb of putting a name as tip, you are having another source of income which is coming in, which is unethical per se. But yes, we have to wait that what exactly is the right picture, where this money in the terms of tip is coming to, whether drivers are being intimated beforehand where tip is coming. But the question that underlines is it ethical for them to bring in that feature of compulsory tipping or a tipping before the ride, whereas what Uber should have done is it should have ensured a fair pay to the drivers who are directly linked to them, or when it comes to a sustainable model where it can have a better revenue sharing model between the drivers and the service provider and they themselves, where they're not dependent on unpredictable tips or compelled to compare them and then choose that, who I should take or not take. Whereas you are becoming one of the largest player. You are already a largest player in the country.
Yes.
Bringing in this aspect right now where people are dependent on you would be very unfair and unethical at this moment to bring in, because people who do not want to bring in or do not want to tip in will be very unfairly treated by either a model by Uber, or if it's been given exercise to the drivers, then they would be choosing people who are tipping better. And that's an unfair way of doing it. You can increase your pricing, you can have a better share, you can pay your drivers better, little more, but put the responsibility on the consumers, where they will be left with nothing but, forced upon to tip at the start, would be absolutely unethical. And if you're saying the name as tip, one has to understand, what does tip mean? Tip doesn't mean that I have to give somebody.
And what is really important here to point out is that this service or this tipping option should be given at the end of the trip. It's up to the consumer. It's up to you, me, whosoever is traveling in that cab, whether we want to tip the driver or not. That should be up to us at the end of the service. That is the moot point here. All right, I'll just come back to you, Ms. Jain. We also have another caller joining us on the broadcast here, MS Ravi from Bengaluru. Mr. Ravi, please go ahead.
Yeah, see, actually, this is not only doing this recently, the other aggregators also have introduced it. Rapido and even your Ola. They also have wanting the drivers to be tipped. So if you put a tip extra, you get faster. And this is not at all the right in practice. Formerly, we used to have the option to pay the tip once the ride is completed. There will be a query, do you want to tip the driver? And then you just pay what you want. But recently now they started insisting in the beginning, and it's not a good practice.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ravi, for calling us and sharing your views with us. We also have another caller with us on the broadcast, Mr. Vijay from Gurugram. Mr. Vijay, go ahead.
Namaskar, ma'am. I shall put the words in the way that there should not be any tip. There should nothing be an advance or after completing the journey you are going to do. This is a cheating, and it is being followed by other service providers like Ola and Uber and other so many. So my request is that this thing should not be there at all. Why to promote this? Why?
Okay.
They plan the things, and in accordance it appears that this much you pay, and okay. Now when you just bypass, I have seen bypassing, automatically it gets connected, and it is established that you are undertaking your journey without giving any tip. It means there is something. So this is my concern, that action should be taken against these service providers, and this is not ethical and honest. That's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you so much for calling us and sharing your views with us, Ms. Jain. We understand that's another important point that has been raised by one of the callers here. Of course, I also want to say that I haven't really tried this option. I haven't really ever opted for this tipping system that has been given by Uber. But of course, whenever I open Uber, I see this option. I don't know if you've tried it or somebody else would have tried it. Does that actually give you a faster ride? I mean, I want to know that. But also at the same time, one of the callers here has pointed out the fact that there should be no tipping system. This option shouldn't be there at all. Neither before the ride nor even after your ride is done. Your service has been provided. You've been provided with the service there. Because you're already making a payment. You're already giving good amount of money to Uber or Ola or any other cab aggregator for your ride. Why should you be made to pay any tip?
In a way, I would agree with you, and that's where I was closing my last point, that the whole aspect of tipping itself is something which is very flawed and very colonial, if I have to put across, because when you tip somebody, you put them at the mercy of your money, and you put them at the level which is below you.
Yes.
So why, for the services that they're offering, give them that respect, give them that fair pay and the money sharing aspect for which they're providing their services? Why are you putting them to a level that they are at the mercy of your tips that's in you per se? But if you have to still continue on the aspect of tip, that's where I would say that bringing in an advanced tip would be something which is unethical and an indirect bribery, if I have to put across. Rather, Uber as a service provider or as a platform or an aggregator should bring in a better sharing model or better pay to their drivers and should not transfer its liability on consumers like you and me, who will be put at the mercy of better tipping so that they can get a better service or a timely service. A service which ideally they have to provide for, and it's not a free service that I'm just tipping. I am paying for the service. There is an aspect of surcharge.
Yes.
Either you let the surcharge otherwise. So this is, in a manner, creating a scenario where a consumer doesn't have any say, but you create a scenario in a manner that I'm forced or I'm succumbing to all your, whims and fancies, either this way or that way, and I do not have any choice left. And
absolutely,
this scenario created is absolutely unethical and unfair at this stage to bring in.
Absolutely,
Either
all right.
But collectively with every other rider in place, and I think that's where we need our Consumer Affairs Ministry to step in and bring in.
Well, they've actually asked for a response from Uber on that, and if there are any other cab aggregators who've also been indulging in the same practice, they also will have to face action, as many callers who've been calling us have been pointing out to the fact that it's not just Uber, there are other companies also doing the same. So let me get us more callers here. Prateek Bose from Hyderabad is now calling us on the broadcast. Mr. Bose, go ahead. What's your view?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Bose, we are able to hear you. What's your take on this?
So, see, since the last 3-4 months, I'm used to visit on Uber only. I'm riding Uber only. And the cabs and everything, I'm taking the chances on Uber. It's a time consuming actually. That's why I'm taking the Uber in the first preference. What is happening? It is little bit less price actually, comparatively other trips. Ola and other things, Rapido and all these things. So I used to prefer consumer used to prefer this area. But what is happening, it's the time torturing. Simply happening, it's really irritating. The moment I'm going to waiting something actually, I'm booking Uber, they simply hang up, cancel these things. All of a sudden, after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, everybody having a time is very precious to each and everyone. I cannot wait for someone. I have some urgency.
Yes.
I have to make a move on all the mid of the road. He says, sir, I'm reaching over here. You just cancel over. What the hell you are talking about to cancel from my side? It is your delay points. You have to take care of these things. This is absolutely ineffective, incapable, ineffective, irregularities, indiscipline. Let us stop Uber. Actually, India should not be priorities and concerns to entertain these kinds of mobile bike system.
Okay.
This is enter bike system. I'm talking Ola, Rapido. These are all people. They're absolutely malpractice.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bose, for calling us and sharing your views with us. Well, we have another caller now with us on the broadcast. Shankar from Ghaziabad is also calling us. Shankar, go ahead, please.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
I am telling you my experience from South India. I am speaking Ghaziabad.
Yes.
In the entire South, what happens is these drivers are asking for extra money, not tips, extra money. They ask in advance. If we don't agree, then they don't turn up. They say they reject. This is also happening with Ola also.
You're saying that the drivers have been asking for advance money in
advance extra money.
extra money, you're saying.
Extra money. If we don't agree,
where did that happen to you?
It happens in Telangana, it happens in Andhra, it happens in Tamil Nadu, it happens in Kerala. Repeatedly it is happening. Repeatedly. You can check with anybody there, local person also, it is happening. This is of course another problem, not about tips. These companies, they have no control over drivers. When they are asking for extra money, we have no other alternative where to pay.
Okay.
They ask in local language. If I am a Tamilian, they will ask in Tamil or Telugu, whatever it may be. They ask in local language. Or they will ask in Hindi.
Okay. So you're saying that they've been asking you for extra money even before, as soon as the ride is booked, and before you sit in the car, you've been asked for extra money from these cab aggregators. All right. And that's happened in states in southern India. Well, Roland D'Souza, also from Pune, is now calling us on the broadcast. Roland, please go ahead. What's your view?
Good evening, ma'am. I think it's a good action taken by the ministry, and I also have been experiencing this in one of the cab aggregators named Rapido. So Rapido is doing this. I think I've seen it for the last 2 months in the app. Unless you accept for a higher tip, you don't get the ride. Otherwise, the ride gets delayed. So, but I've not seen this in Ola and Uber. Maybe I'm not sure, but Rapido, it is happening. At least every ride I take with Rapido, I see this. So I think this practice should be taken out. I think, as you rightly said, it's not ethical. So I'm fully with it, and it's high time that this is removed.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for calling us and sharing your views with us. We also have Imtiaz Ahmed calling us from Mumbai. Mr. Ahmed, go ahead, please.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to put my own objection on this issue. Getting advance for this Uber ride, etc. What I think is a kind of creating corruption, or one way of introducing corruption. That is the only words I would like to say. Because we are already surrounded by many corrupt things, and this will be adding in the same case. So it should be a highly objectionable idea putting this.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed, for speaking to NDTV, sharing your views. We have received a number of calls on this very issue, and we do hope faster action would be taken in this regard.